But to start out, my op-ed today over at HartmannReport.com is titled, "Does Trump Have a KGB Card?" And, you know, we just got this report from the Washington Post. This was a couple days ago. I mentioned it here on the program. It was on Monday. That, actually, I think it was over the weekend, that Iran has suddenly gotten very, very precise in their targeting of American troops and American radar installations and just the whole thing. In fact, they've gotten so precise that the number of missiles they're having to shoot has dropped by several orders of magnitude. Now, initially it was being reported, oh, hey, they're firing off a lot fewer missiles. Isn't that great news? But what has happened is instead of like spraying out 100 missiles and hitting 1 or 2 targets, now they're shooting off 1 or 2 missiles and hitting 1 or 2 targets, including our soldiers in Kuwait who I believe it was Kuwait, who died as a result of an Iranian attack. Now it's 8 soldiers. It was originally 6. Remember when Trump went to the dignified transfer and wore his baseball cap that, you know, he's selling over on his website for $54 now? Which is so disgusting. Jeff Danziger sent me a cartoon about it yesterday afternoon, and I included it in our newsletter today. Also posted over on Daily Coz. But so how did Iran suddenly get so precise in their targeting of American targets? Turns out Russia's helping them, at least according to the Washington Post. Now, when they asked Trump about this was right after he came back from wearing his hat and refusing to bow his head at the dignified transfer. By the way, I watched J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance didn't bow his head either. I mean, these guys are just, well, anyway. When they asked Trump about this, Trump said, well, you know, words to the effect of, I'll give you his exact quote in just a second, but his words were to the effect of, you know, when Biden was president, we were sharing intelligence information, satellite intelligence information with Ukraine to attack Russian soldiers. So why can't Russia share their satellite information with Iran to attack American soldiers? I mean, isn't that, you know, just tit for tat? His actual words were, well, they say we do it against them. Wouldn't they say that we do it against them? Them, of course, being Russia. So here we have Donald Trump saying it's just fine that his boss, Putin, is helping Iran target American soldiers. In fact, he just came back from the dignified transfer, the predecessor, the predicate to the funeral, for 6 of them. We now have 8 dead soldiers. We also have 140 or 150 American soldiers, some of whom are just clinging to life right now. Others who will have, you know, amputations. Their lives will be changed forever. And for Trump, of course, they're just suckers and losers. I mean, we all know that. No member of Trump's family has ever served in the military. In fact, his grandfather, Grandpa Drumpf, when that was his name when he fled Germany, was kicked out of Germany because he refused to serve in the German draft back in the 1800s, in the late 1800s. Came to the United States and started a whorehouse in what was it, Alaska or the Pacific Northwest, wherever it was. I mean, you know, there's this long, noble line of Trump men, right? Jeez. So anyhow, then they asked Steve Witkoff. Steve Witkoff, his sons are, you know, with the Trump sons cutting deals in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Oman, you know, and Saudi Arabia, by the way, has been lobbying aggressively for the United States to attack Iran. Saudi Arabia, which is giving millions of dollars every single week to Jared Kushner to service their $2 billion investment with him. I mean, every week or so, Jared's putting another $1 million in his checking account from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia wanted us to attack Iran. So anyhow, Witkoff, the real estate billionaire who has no experience in international diplomacy at all, who's been flying over to Moscow and meeting privately with Putin without an American translator and without anybody from the State Department. Figure that one out. Witkoff says, well, I can tell you that the Russians are saying no, and we should just take their word for it. His exact quote was, quote, "I can tell you that yesterday on the call with Trump, the Russians said that they have not been sharing. That's what they said, so we can take their word." And then later he said, "Well, let's hope they're not sharing." Good one, Steve. And now Trump has just come out and said, you know, when he was asked, you know, well, why did you go to this raid? And he said, well, you know, Jared told me that they were about to attack us. This is the Jared who's being paid $1 million a week by Saudi Arabia, which is lobbying for America to attack Iran. And of course, Jared, you know, when he was a kid, Benjamin Netanyahu used to sleep in his bedroom when he would visit in New York. So this guy who's not even a government employee, we have no ability to know what Jared Kushner's up to. He doesn't have to file any reports with anybody. He doesn't have to disclose his conflicts of interest because he's not a government employee. He's just Jared. He just shows up and does this stuff. And he's taking millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia, and he's family friends with Netanyahu, both of whom wanted us to attack Iran. And so now Trump, it looks like he's preparing to throw Jared under the bus, as this thing is not just going bad, this thing is going down. I mean, now they're mining the Persian Gulf, or excuse me, the Straits of Hormuz. And, you know, yeah, we blew up some mine laying boats, but good luck with that. I mean, there's thousands of little boats in that region that can be used for laying mines. Which all raises the question, you know, every time Putin says jump, Trump says how high. Now, you know, Trump just hung Putin's picture in the White House. Which raises the question, why? Why is Trump hanging Putin's picture in the White House along with the pictures of all the former American presidents? What the hell is going on here? I mean, let's not forget that right after Trump won in November of 2024, the most recent time Trump won, the day after, or a couple of days after, on Russian state television, they were showing on Russian state television nudie pictures of Melania. You know, these are old cheesecake pictures from before she married Donald, and they're really nude. I mean, totally naked. And laughing about it. Like, hey, we've got Donald, you know, where we want him. I'm just, you know, and it goes, I mean, you know, from the Mueller report to, I go through all this in the article, to the New York Times, you know, pointing out that after Donald Trump asked Senator Rand Paul to fly over to Moscow privately and hand deliver some documents to Putin, that just a week or two later, suddenly the CIA says, hey, our spies all over the world are being killed. What's going on? I mean, these are just a couple of the data points, and they're all over the place. What the hell is going on here? Is Trump an agent of Russia? If so, how long has he been one? And what does that mean for the future of the United States if we've got a Russian agent, an employee of Putin, or a guy whose first loyalty is to Putin and not to the United States, as president of the United States? What the hell does that mean? What say you?